Hi, this is the third in my series on how to conjugate regular verbs in French. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be going over how to conjugate regular verbs that end in IR. And I'm taking a classic example, which is finir, the verb to finish. And like I've done in the previous tutorials, I'm actually only focusing on like the tenses you're actually really ever going to use, because there are lots of tenses in French, but I'm really going over the ones that you really need. Okay, so let's have a look at how we form an IR verb in the present tense. Okay, so what we do is we take the verb, and to get the stem, what we do is we take the IR off the end. Yes? And then we add these endings. IS, IS, IT, ISS, ONS, ISS, EZ, ISS, ENT. So for the verb finir, we then get je finis, tu finis, il finit, nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent. Let's look at le passé composé, or the present perfect. And what we do here is that we take the present tense of the verb avoir or être. Now, finir is conjugated with avoir, so we're going to take present tense of avoir, which is j'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, and then we add the past participle of the verb. Now, we form the past participle of IR verbs by taking the IR off the end and adding I. So, we get then for the verb finir, j'ai fini, tu as fini, il a fini, nous avons fini, vous avez fini, ils ont fini. Okay, let's look at the imperfect. The imperfect, what we do here is that we take the stem, so the verb without the IR on the end, here, so sorry. And then what we do is we add these endings. So basically, these endings are basically ISS, and then the imperfect endings which we saw in ER verbs. So AIS, AIS, AIT, etc. Right? So for fini, what we have is then, so we have, this is our stem, whoops, FIN, and then we add this ending on. So it becomes, for finir, je finissais, tu finissais, il finissait, nous finissions, vous finissiez, il finissait. It's sion, sier. You do pronounce the I here. Okay, let's move on to the pluperfect. The pluperfect is formed by taking the imperfect of the verb avoir or être. Now in this case, we're using avoir, and then we add the past participle. So it's then, therefore, j'avais fini, tu avais fini, il avait fini, nous avions fini, vous aviez fini, ils avaient fini. Okay, the future is formed by taking the infinitive, so finir, and then adding these endings. And these endings are basically very similar to that present tense of avoir. J'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. Okay, so what we get is for the verb finir, so we say finir, and then we say the ending, finirai. Je finirai, tu finiras, il finira, nous finirons, vous finirez, ils finiront. Yeah, so this word and this word are pronounced the same. Okay, let's have a look at le futur antérieur, or the future perfect. It's formed by taking the present tense of avoir or être, and in this case it's avoir, and then we add the past participle of the verb. So it's j'aurai fini, tu auras fini, il aura fini, nous aurons fini, vous aurez fini, ils auront fini. Yep, okay. The conditional is formed a bit like the future. We take the infinitive, but this time we add the imperfect endings. So what we do is, so these are imperfect endings, and they're the same as in ER verbs, right? Okay. So for finir, it becomes je finirai, tu finirais, il finirait, nous finirions, vous finiriez, il finirait. The conditional past is formed by taking the conditional present of avoir or être. In this case, it's avoir, and then adding the past participle of the verb. So it's j'aurais fini, tu aurais fini, il aurait fini, nous aurions fini, vous auriez fini, ils auraient fini. Let's look at the present subjunctive. The present subjunctive is formed by taking the third person plural in the present tense and then taking the ent off. So let's have a quick look at the third person plural in the present tense, which is this one. So these are the basically the the persons in the plural. Okay, never mind. So we take this one and we take the ent off the end. Yep. Okay. And then we add these endings e, es, ent. So you get que je finisse, que tu finisses, qu'il finisse, qu'il finisse. The nous and the vous forms are basically this stem that I've just explained plus the imperfect endings. So you've got que nous finissions, que vous finissiez. And these are our imperfect endings, like we saw. Where's our imperfect? Here. Okay. Let's move on to the past subjunctive. The past subjunctive is formed by taking the present subjunctive of avoir or être, in this case avoir, so it's que j'ai, que tu es, qu'il est, etc., and then adding the past participle, fini. So it becomes que j'ai fini, que tu es fini, qu'il est fini, que nous ayons fini, que vous ayez fini, qu'il s'est fini. Okay, the imperative, that's giving people orders. If it's you, singular, informal, what we do is we take the present tense of the je form. So let's have a look at the present tense. This is our present tense, and we take the je form. So fini. Yeah. So the nous and the vous form are basically just the nous and the vous form in the present tense. So nous and vous. Yeah. So it's fini, finissons, finissez. Okay. So if you want to give us an order, it's this: finissons, let's finish, and finissez is you plural or you formal singular. Finissez, finish. Okay, the present participle is formed by taking the stem, so the verb without the ir on the end, and adding ISSANT. So for finir it's finissons, and I've already explained how to form the present participle, past participle I mean. Okay, let's have a look at these verbs. Now there are a few verbs that are conjugated exactly like regular IR verbs, with a few differences. In the present, the subjunctive present, and the imperfect, they're conjugated slightly differently. So the verbs sentir, consentir, ressentir, sortir, ressortir, and mentir. In the present tense, what you do is you take the stem, so the verb without the IR on the end, and then you take the last letter off, the T. So basically you take TIR off, and then you add S, S, and T. So it's je sens, tu sens, il sent. And then for the nous, vous, and il form, what you do is you just only take the IR off, and then you add, in fact, regular ER endings on for these persons. So it's sentir with nous sentions, nous sentons, vous sentez, ils sentent. Okay. The present subjunctive, what you do is you take the third person plural in the present tense. So here for the verb sentir, it's this word here. And then you take the ENT off the end. That gives you your stem, to which you add E, ES, E, and the ENT. So it becomes que je sente, que tu sentes, qu'il sente, qu'il sente. For the nous and the vous form, what you do is you take the stem, like I've already explained here, and then you add the imperfect endings. So for nous and vous, it's then que nous sentions, que vous sentiez. Okay. The imperfect is formed by taking the stem, so the verb without the IR on the end, and then we add the imperfect endings, like here. So, je sentais, tu sentais, il sentait, etc. Okay, quickly going through this. Dormir is conjugated exactly like sentir, etc. Yeah? Apart from these tenses are different than IR verbs. It's exactly the same as these ones, okay? However, what you do is that you've got, instead of T, you've got M. Yeah? Okay. Finally, the last lot I want to talk about is partir. Now, partir is conjugated exactly like sentir, like I've just explained. However, instead of using avoir as the auxiliary, we're using être as the auxiliary. So, in the present perfect, what you've got is je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, and then the past participle. Parti. Okay. And then you're asking yourself, why is there an S here? Okay. This will all be elucidated in another tutorial. But please come to my website. I've made some exercises you can do to practice these verbs. And I've also, and you'll get the link in the description of the tutorial below. Okay. You can also get the document for this down below as well. Okay, great. Bye.